welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City. And we have a great show planned for you today, and we got some things we need to take care of. So we're happy that you were able to join us, all our loyal listeners and faithful people. And do we have our guest on the line?
Oh, no. Let me call her right now. I'm sorry. I got hold up here. Hold on. 1 sec.
So what's going on in Kansas City, Mr. MC?
Well, I don't know. I'm in bad shape now. The place we had scheduled for our event, that particular place, somebody booked it. I thought it was already taken care of. And I made all these plans. I was calling this other center to see whatever.
He's on the line. We're on the line. We're ready to go.
Okay.
All right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is MC Richardson, the host and moderator for Guess Who's Come to Kansas City. And we have a show with an old friend that I've been knowing for years, who was the first United Minority Media Association board secretary, former state legislator, former city council, and former student of Central High School, Mrs. Melva Curls. And I'd like to welcome Ms. Curls to the show. But first, let's do this. A lot of people like to have their flowers. We might say dandelion wine, not the green. A lot of people like to be acknowledged today and don't wait till tomorrow, because we never know what the outcome might be.
Give me my flowers while I can still see them or smell them.
You heard that from that lady I've been knowing for years, but the person that they had a special acknowledgement that was yesterday with Mr. Elvis Sonny Gibson. And he, unfortunately, he has, what's that disease he has, Miss Curls?
Well, they said it was COVID. I don't know what all.
Yes.
That's what they said.
But we wanted, he was a great individual this city, even though he's from the state of Texas, we still appreciate him here. But we have another situation that's happening in Kansas City that the community should put a halt if possible. But first of all, we would like for Mrs. Curls to tell us about herself and some things that she's involved in. And we know she's always busy, but she seems to make every place. There goes my deal. She seems to be every place she needs to be.
Well, I still like to get involved with the community. I retired a while back, but I tell people, when you retire, if you can, still do something. Don't just do nothing. So I'm still on a couple of boards and commissions, and I go to community meetings periodically. So that's a good thing, to stay involved if you can.
Well, one of the things, we got something that people are, in fact, they have a meeting Monday that they're trying to close down two of our high schools here in Kansas City. One is Central High School, which Ms. Curl is a graduate of, and the other one is Northeast High School. Both of them, one down by St. John, that's in the minority community area, and then Central is in the people of color street. So these are some that be crucial if that's allowed to happen rather. Ms. Curls, what have you found out about these two situations?
Well, when I first heard that Central was on the list, they have a list of schools that they want to close, I understand. And when I heard Central, I said, not Central, because Central is like a historical school. Because I was in the group, I wasn't the first group that graduated from Central, because it was all white back in the day. And matter of fact, I wanted to mention I graduated in 1959. Now that's pretty long ago, but we're proud of that. But a lot of the situation is so different now. But I hate to think of it closing because there's such a history there.
Well, historically, Central, before it was integrated, Casey Stengel, a lot of people that are historians or was from Kansas City attended Central. Central, I went to Ortico's and I went to Lincoln. That was a school that challenged the Central Eagles every year. and back in 1955 when they integrated here. But this would be a tremendous blow if this is allowed to happen. Why did they say that these two schools are on the list?
I don't know all the ins and outs. I just know that they're acting as though they had another plan. I remember that when I graduated, Central was the old Central, brick and mortar, and they built a new Central in the 90s. Built a whole, dismantled the old one and built a new one. And that's the one you see now that looks really nice. And it is nice. They have, well, they don't use the pool, I understand, anymore, but they have an Olympic-sized pool and a basketball court, and it's a nice pool. So it really is. So we're just kind of concerned about them talking about getting rid of it.
Well, I recall it was a school where they had fencing, but it was one of the Olympic-sized swimming pools, which individuals from different parts of the city used to go use that swimming pool. And then it was a great computer school, too.
Not yet. So it's the central school to do things and had different things for you to do there and different, I can't think of the word, different things for you to help me out.
Well, I'm also thinking that even both the Northeast, voted by St. John and Kansas City, on St. John rather, and Central, they had 2 incidents there. I wonder would that be the reason why they was put on the closed down list? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they did that. But it's some history there, so I would hope they would rethink it. And because when my son graduated, it was called Central Magnet High School. Remember, it was a magnet school at one point. Now it's just plain Central High School, but it was a magnet. And that was back in the 90s when he graduated. So it's got some history there. So I hope they'll rethink that.
As a former city council and a former state legislator, what happens to things like that? Is this political motivated, you think? Or what can the people who elect the official, what can they do, or do they make the decisions? It's
school board, and it might end up being a state issue. I'm not sure, but when you have something like this happen and the community gets upset, it brings in other people and other communities. So you saw some of it on the news. They couldn't believe it. It's not Central. So it's got some history. We hope that they don't. I don't think they're going to. If they close it, then they'll make something else out of it or have another thing to go to. Or I don't know all the ins and outs. Do you?
Well, what I was thinking that it was a school that you're familiar with down on Benton called D.A. Holmes. They closed that down and made it into a senior affordable living.
And it looks very nice too. I think I've been in there only once, but it's very nice. Yeah, that's true. So I think they would make a senior center. Well, you don't know, and I don't either. But the plan is, I guess they've got a master plan.
Well, a lot of people might not know that Central, we also have a gentleman in the St. Louis area on the line with one of the producers, and we used to have contests. I don't know if this occurred has happened in St. Louis or not. Mr. Fowlkes, can you tell us anything about that? Was it the same type of situation?
Yeah, see.
Sports or something? Is that what you're referring to?
The guy we're talking to, the producer's name is Fowlkes, and he's in St. Louis. I just want to ask him the same question. I think he's getting ready to answer.
Oh, okay.
Well, Ms. Girls, how you doing again? Nice to hear your voice again.
Fine. How are you doing?
Well, life is good, man. Life is good. MC, well, you're in St. Louis. we have had a lot of our black schools closed down. And matter of fact, one of the schools that was one was Central High School was one of the first high schools west of the Mississippi. And normally they close them down. They said it's because of the population in the school is not enough to keep the schools open.
Yeah.
And that's normally is the reason that we had that we're given. And I know here last year, school last year, they had listed about 10 schools that was closing down, and 90% of them was in the black community, and naturally there was an uproar. And in some cases, like some of the high school was one on the list. They needed to modify either some type of a part-time school and part-time some other facility they were using, for the school purpose.
But did they end up closing them?
No, Central didn't. Central was able to be kept open mainly because they had a real strong alumni group that came to the table. And matter of fact, in the case of them, Central High School, they had built recently a brand new football field, made out of artificial turf, and it was really they had made a lot of improvements to the school. So it wasn't because of addition; it's just because of the population.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying with Central here. That it's only like 400 or so that attend the school now, and it was originally built for 1,200 something like that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's the problem. Matter of fact, I'm fortunate. My high school, I went to Southern High School here. They tried it into an international school, a school where it's still open, and so they found another use for it, and so that's why sometimes if you make enough noise, so like in the description, they'll kind of go to the table again, and normally, like you said earlier, girl, it's the school board that makes that decision, and most times they don't. It doesn't go to favorably with the people in the community as well as alumni.
Well, it's a kind of sad situation, I think. And there are schools here that are vacant and have been sitting there vacant for a while. I pass by every now and then. So I know the population has something to do with it. I understand that. But we had an exchange student that went to Central, and he loved Central back in the day. And so I haven't told him that he was from Paraguay. I haven't let him know this yet.
Wow. Well, I know here, and like what I think, in most of cities around the country, that where we had these schools in the black community, as the people have moved to the counties, the population has shifted. That's one reason why schools that were built to hold over 1,000 people now are holding maybe 400 to 500 students, and that's they're saying the cost of the heating and and stuff like
utilities and all that.
Yeah, utilities
and there's a teacher shortage. I realize that. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, also here we got in Louis we have a bus shortage, a bus driver, not a bus
driver. Yep, that's everywhere, I guess. Yeah, we've got that too. Bus shortage. So there's a lot to deal with.
But we think about, I think of education as the key that, especially people of color, about really getting good educations, and it seems like we just falling behind in that. Now we do have people say this would be a perfect opportunity for charter schools to come into existence.
Well, they're already in existence, and I hope they won't try to take over, because that's a whole nother issue that some people were concerned about.
Well, Mrs. Stone, you are aware, our legislators in Jeff City has made some laws, some rules, what I can call rules-changing laws, saying that allow the charter schools to qualify for state funding.
Some of the money.
Right. And so previously, all had to be privately funded. But now, unfortunately, when you go to a charter school, they still do not have the governance of the state. So they still have an independent board, so to speak. That
yeah, and you don't know who's on there. A lot of times, they don't even know who's on the board. That's true.
And there's no accountability for the money. Most times, here in St. Louis, I'm not sure in Kansas City. I think I heard some things about it, but I know for a fact. Here in St. Louis, normally there's a problem with the money comes up in most cases.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but I know they do get, they are awarded part of the funding for schools.
Yes. Matter of fact, we have one of the schools here most recently had to shut down. But this is something that happened in faith. Some kid brought a gun into the school, and this has been a constant problem. So this charter school also, so they are shutting them down for a couple of days to figure out how to improve their security.
Oh. Now is that St. Louis City or the county or both?
Well, that was in St. Louis City. Matter of fact, today I do a radio show with these girls every day, and share that today. And I was fortunate to have one of our St. Louis County executives. And that's one thing that we did not approach in our conversation today was about the schools here in St. Louis County. And they haven't had too. Matter of fact, not only have we had a problem with the public schools closing down, we have had two large Catholic schools closed down in the city. Matter of fact, they're the only Catholic schools left in St. Louis because Rosanna Kane.
High school or high school, middle school, or what do you mean by?
Well, there are two high schools.
High school,
and,
okay. Oh.
And they were only two, and one was a boy and one was for girls. Mm-hmm. And with them closing, that removes all Catholic high schools from St. Louis, period.
It's complicated, really, but I think.
Yeah, and in their case, well, in our case here, the Archdiocese has made a decision. What they're doing is that there's been a shift in the population, and they're saying that in the case of the Catholic schools there, that the people who are going there are not all Catholic schools.
No, they never have been really. So that's a whole nother discussion. But they have to pay a fee though to go there, Catholic, to go to Catholic.
And so right now there's a plan afoot for the girls' school possibly to continue with some primary funding, private funding. So right now it's not closing down until next year. So there's a lot of talk going on about some kind of way inmates survive, but the boys' school St. Mary's, and there's some also to talk about it because it's on the hill which is a large Italian community, and there right now they want to have these high schools there in their community, and so we're going to see how that plays out.
My daughter went to Catholic high school, graduated from there, and it was all girl. It's still open, St. Teresa. I don't know how many students they have, but it's still open.
Yeah, I think right now, like you said, in either case, that with the population shift, not just for black, but for whites and for blacks. And matter of fact, here in St. Louis, and I know the same in Kansas City, they're now starting to rebuild luxury apartments like crazy all over the city. Yeah. And we already know it's gentrification, what you want to call it, but it's like the blacks are being removed and from the neighborhood, and unfortunately, I recall years ago the same thing happened with a lot of white students when they actually left. They couldn't afford to come back and buy the house that their parents had. So, I mean, so it's something that's systematic, so to speak, but it's real.
Well, let me ask you this. Every 10 years they have the census. Didn't Kansas City fare well in the census? this last one. What kind of shift of population shift was that? Can you think of?
I don't know. I think it was fewer people, but not many. I think that was.
Well, Kansas City, to my knowledge, didn't have a large. See, Kansas City, things are different in that Kansas City is all in Jackson County. This is Lyles. So this kind of expanded. But we have St. Louis City and
the county. Never the twain shall meet.
Right. Oh my God, yeah. But unfortunately, St. Louis City is a county within itself. I mean, so this is one of those rare things in St. Louis City. But now St. Louis County is having problems with some of their schools closing down. But really, I take it back.
Population as well? Or do you...
Well, now I take it back. Okay, there has not been a lot of schools closing in St. Louis County, where there have been some Catholic schools that were closed in the county. Most of the public schools that they have an issue because the population is growing. But and we also, in our conversation, we have St. George County, which used to be one of the fastest growing counties in the country, or in the state. But now, Jefferson County now has to go over that lead. Right? Am I right, Scott?
Well, let me ask you that. And we need help from our citizens, our listeners from St. Louis and Ferguson to help the people in Kansas City or call their friends because they have a big meeting planned this Monday. And how can they both work together to strategize? Because we don't need to have our schools shut down, as they say. I know when Central, before Melba, this was after Melba, when they rebuilt Central, they put a construction cost out of $20 million, but it ended up costing $33 million. So, they put a lot of money, at least the contractors, we say, made a bunch of money on the school. It's an exclusive school. It's a lot in that area, but I just don't know what brings this all about, or what do the people, think the people of St. Louis can help the people. We know it's Monday for the meeting, but how can they help them plan and strategize to keep our schools open?
Well, MC, first of all, there's nothing we can do here in St. Louis, okay?
I mean, to advise the people, y'all.
Well, I mean, really, they're totally in two different cities, and they have, and each, like in the case of Kansas City, there, they have a governing board that oversees the schools there, and the decision that's being made will be made by those board members. Right now,
I said we both have school boards. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and so now the people in Kansas City, they can call their board members in Kansas City and make them heard.
Yeah. That's what they've been doing. They'll do that, and they've been coming, and they'll come to meetings and things. That's what happened with the housing issue. They were there. The citizens of Kansas City, they wanted to be heard and wanted their views seen and listened to. So I guess, that's the next step.
Well, let me ask you this. I know Mrs. Curl, once a politician, always a politician. A lot of times they say the politicians have already made up their mind. People can come out, they can do a lot of things, demonstrate, but that doesn't change a thing.
Well, we don't know till it happens. And people will get organized and let themselves be heard. That's what we can ask for.
By being a proud member of Central High School back in your day, you came out of Central the year after I came out of Lincoln, the castle on the hill. And I'm just trying to get, this is a show that we're talking about, we all like education. And just something that our people, maybe we don't know how to, a different phase of politics, how to make things or secure things in our different cities. As a politician, a former politician, what would you suggest to enable our students to try to secure things that we need, or our city?
Well, I always tell people, and they do this here in Kansas City and everywhere. You see the people demonstrating and ticket signs and protest signs, it's because they want to be heard. And when you have a public meeting, then the public comes and they let themselves be heard. And a lot of times they might be organized, and they might be on the same page, and they let the people on the committee know that. And that's how they can start and let themselves be heard, let you know how they feel.
In St. Louis City, I know about the county, is the population growing? Where do the people of color, I know they say you can live anywhere you want to, where do they normally stay in St. Louis, of the largest population? What part of the city or the county do they stay in St. Louis?
Well, in St. Louis City, it's normally North St. Louis, and in St. Louis County, it's also North County, and really the congressional district that Congressman Cory Bush has, and former Congressman Clay Gator also was, that black constituency. In that North County area, they kind of the lines that kind of don't cross that. When they also come together, I should say. And so both of them, in matter of fact, in St. Louis County today, I know Page said that we have a 20% population of minorities of blacks, such as say, that's in St. Louis County. But in St. Louis City, that number is a whole lot larger, you know.
A black population.
In St. Louis City is a whole lot larger than 20%. I think it's probably closer to in the 40s, in the middle 40s.
Oh.
But in St. Louis City, the black population kind of spread it off. It's really spread it a lot on the south side also. I mean, but the majority of them are in North St. Louis.
Let me ask you this: our politicians, I have found out the ones that state reps and the people connected with the state, they seem to find a way to hang out in St. Louis more so than they do in Kansas City. And both of y'all can answer that.
What are you saying? Hang out? What do you mean?
Well, I have heard that most of the politicians, elected officials, they seem to spend a great deal of time in St. Louis. What's the justification for that, do you think?
Let me explain to that now, okay? Answer the question. There was a time that St. Louis City had more activities that was going on in the black community. Well, as Ms. Girls will recall, we have some former leaders and stuff that's no longer with us. So we did have a lot of political things going on here now. But right now, our political community in St. Louis, North St. Louis, even our elected in Just City down to a few. Matter of fact, tonight, State Senator Carla Mays is getting an award from the Coalition of Black Trade Unions, which I was supposed to have been at today, but I turned the tickets down because I was at the show with UNC. And so, I mean, so I think we have maybe like 2 or 3. Matter of fact, we only have maybe, and even in Just City, we only have maybe two black males up there, Congressman State Senator Clay, and also State Senator Ryan Williams. So only 2 black males there. But so the population now, Kansas City has more activities now for people to go to than St. Louis does, especially with the Chiefs. And a lot of people like baseball, here, but we used to have a football team, rub it in. We got lost that. But with the Kansas City Chiefs being how they are, people are sending them on the plot right now to Kansas City, not St. Louis.
Well, let me ask former and the term now, they put the term limit in Missouri, Mrs. Curls. I didn't know that you really, because you got your family here in Kansas City, hung out in St. Louis. the way they say they go into St. Louis now. And I don't know if she went to St. Louis on very many occasions, unless they had a meeting that involved.
Well, when people are from different parts of the state, the lobbyists go everywhere and are in St. Louis and the county and different parts of the state. But the reps themselves, they pretty much in their area so they can be visible and find out what's going on and communicate. At least that's what we do here in Kansas City side.
And you see, right now, there are not too many black businesses right now. Places of entertainment that's owned by blacks right now that people want to go, they can go to here in St. Louis City now. So that's why I said not too many people right now are flocking to the black community. The crime is extra high here as girls, but with the gun violence that we have across the state now, there's changed a whole lot of that. And so where people want to go out and be involved like stuff. Even COVID-19 has changed all that.
Well, that's true. But still, if you want to address the issue of closing schools, some of the black groups get together and or whatever, and go to these meetings and let them know how they're feeling about it.
Does that really help or prevent people from, if they already got their mind made up, they want to do something, does that really stop anything for people?
If their minds are made up, sometimes they might change their mind. It just depends on how the people feel, because they have to, address the people. They have to listen to them. That's what I did.
The people, while you were in both positions with the state and with the city, do a lot of people, your constituents, do they come to you when they want you to do certain things that were in their favor? That might be the wrong word, but something they wanted you to do.
If they want to address an issue, people come to me now, and I'm not. They say, "Well, I want something in my street and so in my house." I said, "You need to let your city council person know." Well, I know you. So I said, I'm not on the city council anymore, but it would be good if you would share that with her or him. So a lot of times people just, they're not afraid to go and let the elected people know what the issue is.
Well, the Curls family, which is your family, they're very prominent here in Kansas City. Just for the sake of our listeners in St. Louis and wherever they might be in Ferguson, what did you feel? How did your over 8 years, 4 years in each, no, longer than that, 2 terms.
It was just 8 years, 2 4-year terms. Then we have to move on.
Tell us some of the things that you worked on, was involved in, both in the state and the city.
Well, when I was at the state, I was on several committees, and I don't remember them all now because I was there for 8 years. But the representatives really cared. They said we're going to have some people talking about this, or people from Centralia, different parts of the state would come and share their concerns or whatever. And we would always listen, and I think they're still doing that. They may have their own thoughts. The representing the elected officials may have their own thoughts about different issues. Sometimes they might change their mind if they listen to the public, or sometimes they won't. It just depends. But, it is politics, but that's how it goes.
Well, from a person in Kansas City, what inspired you besides the Curls family and the Dudley family? What inspired you to get involved in politics?
Well, as far as getting involved, I think I was always aware. My mother, back in the day, she belonged to the NAACP. She used to dress up, put her white gloves on, and go picket somewhere. Okay, Melba Jean, she called me, I'm going to be gone for a while. We going to picket. I said, where? I was always concerned. So she led the charge. She picketed and was concerned about things way back in the day. So I think I kind of got the urge from her. And then, seeing things happen and they say, well, isn't that awful? Say, well, you should have said something. You should let them know. So, that's how it started. And that's just history. Hello?
Go ahead. We don't need any time because we got a lot we can talk about, but something that can really, we think, would inspire our people or help our people to get involved. Sometimes they say people don't care. We have people that register that don't vote. We have a lot of people who might not register, or they leave the political arena to someone else when it really impacts all of us.
You just need to, I think you have to have the urge. I don't think, a lot of times when people are running for office, I say, well, why are they running? I've never even seen them anywhere. So, and they just say, well, I can do that. I think I'll run. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it may, but most times it doesn't. So I think you have to care, and you have to really understand how to get involved. And to stay involved. Like I said, people that, I said, have they ever been to a meeting? Have they ever been to a city hall meeting? Do they look at it on TV? Do they, and some of that, they might say no.
See, I think one of the things so far in the conversation, I didn't want to bring it up by my ass. Ms. Carol, you have a very political family. Can you tell us a little bit some of your offspring, people, your family that are still continuing, the real condition in politics in Jeff City and also in Kansas City for holding office or have had office?
I didn't understand the question. I can't understand you. You asked the question about what did you say?
Well, what I'm asking you, okay, could you kind of share with us, okay, some of your family members who are now still in office or who are elected officials in the Girls family in Jeff City?
Yeah, well, we were. I'm trying to think who the first person of the Curls family lived. It might have just been Bill, but when someone leaves a charge, you get in and you help them and you decide this is worth it, and after a while you're caught up and you want to be a state rep, or you want to be involved and you want to be elected.
I know. I was fortunate. I never wanted to run out. I just was a campaign manager. I was the first person in the background most time, and still is. Because I know Mr. Curls, Trio Curls. Now, was he the first person in the family that actually ran for office? Was elected, I should say?
The first Curls, I think. Now, somebody's going to say that's not true, but I think it was the first, because when he first ran, I said, why are you doing this? We got these children. You want to leave home every week and leave me here to take care of them? So I remember that, and he was the first one I remember running. But you have to remember his dad, Fred Curls, was one of the founders of Freedom Incorporated. And that's a well-known, long-standing political organization that's a minority. So
I think they just said it's been wait 60 years, I want to say this year.
Yeah. I think it's 50. Yeah, they had anniversary.
I think it's 60 years.
It was 60 years. 60th anniversary. Yeah.
I know it was a lot of years, but I'm just saying Fred was one of the founders, so that's political right there. So anyway, it's
Who else in your family? I know you and Phil. Has anybody else got involved in politics, or left it to you two?
Delon Kiki Curls,
Yeah, right.
senator, and there's some people that are on different boards and things. And so, now my children never ran for anything, but they were always ready to go, go in the dust and help out. And even when I ran for a city council the first time, they still, because my boys all live in L.A., they were flying in to help me. You going door to door next weekend, so things like that. They were used to that, and they were helping. And they had if we had a farm or something, there was always someone from my family that was at the farm, sitting in the front row, So things like that were helpful.
If you just tune in, we're talking with former state rep and city council person, Melba Dudley Curls, and we're just trying to let the people know this is a young lady has experienced all of it, we think, to bring you up to date. But we had someone that had, I thought, a pretty good appreciation forum, I'll say that, for Sonny Gibson, that is ill, and he's done so much for the community, so he was involved. And then we got into the thing about the school closing. So what we want to do, I didn't entice her. I asked her 2 or 3 times to be a guest on today's show, just kind of bring up people up to date. We're trying to get more people involved, whether they're in politics or support politics, to know what's going on and what they should do in order to make things happen or make people aware that this is what they would like to do with a group of people. Like they also say, if you want to get some politicians to come to your meeting or forum, if you got 25 registered voters, that will entice the politics to show up at your meeting.
Well, they have the politicians, they'll probably come anyway. We don't take notes and say, now, are you a registered voter? Have you voted? You come to the, we come and try to entice other people to come.
Well, I think Sonny Gibson, Sonny was very instrumental in his McDonald's breakfast that he had to bring people together also, a lot of politicians and stuff.
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. Fowlkes. You used to come to Birds, Eggs, and Enlightenment with Sonny Gibson as the founder. Right.
Yeah, I became a member, and I was over there spending a lot of time there. You and I would go down there, and I would get involved with the issues that were being discussed. And I think Sonny will be known for a lot of things. I think with Eggs and Enlightenment to be one of the things that people. Anyone that ran for any position in Kansas City would always want to go to the Eggs and Enlightenment. Am I right, Miss Girls?
Yeah, that's true. They wanted.
That was a stop for anybody.
Yeah, that's true. They wanted to be known and know what's happening and all of that, which is good.
And I think here in St. Louis, we never got anything like that. I was always impressed about the level of the people that were education that were there, the level of the discussions that were there, and it was a place that you could come and actually agree to disagree and still get along and still be there friends.
Sure. And different opinions help the problem.
Oh, yeah.
The problem. That's true.
And I was very impressed with that, when I was my first time there. Wow, this is interesting. And you can see, we went by there, and I was very impressed. Every time I come to Kansas City on Saturday, I try to make my trips include Saturday, especially just to go down to the Eggs and Enlightenment.
Right. And we still meeting. Freedom still meets too. That's the history as well.
What is that? The other place?
To a Freedom Incorporated meeting.
Yes. I didn't go to any of their meetings, but I know Eggs and Enlightenment was something that come Saturday morning, okay,
Friday morning, you mean?
Yeah, they meet on
Friday morning.
Freedom meets on Thursday evening. But we don't meet, every week. We once a month. But anyway.
Well, on Sunday, on Friday morning, he had this gavel that ready to start the meeting, and people showed up, and it was standing room only.
Then it's not, yeah. And a lot of times if there's an issue or if there's an election coming up, more people will be there.
Yeah.
What do you think about the forthcoming election that's going to be held on November the 8th?
November the 8th. Well, I think it's going to be interesting. Some races are already decided because some people that like Deron McGee doesn't have an opponent. He has a couple of opponents in the primary. So he doesn't have one. He'll be on the ballot, but he doesn't have an opponent. So he's already in. Some people, it'll be interesting.
Were you involved in the census when they go to the census can tell you if you're gonna have one or more Congress people based on the count of people in your particular area?
Oh, no, I wasn't involved, but there was not an issue, but they were concerned that they were going to divide up the 5th district, and make it more difficult for for African Americans who want to run. But they ended up, it was okay. They have it now. And I don't know if they did that with some of the areas in St. Louis or not.
No. I think that our first congressional district is a scavenged by law. That's how. So right now, that's always a state bank district there in the state. So that's why there wasn't a lot of discussion about that. But I think indeed that they were trying to have Kansas City and Lake Ozark in the same district, which would make no difference.
I want that. Yeah, that's true. It's politics. Huh?
Well, let me ask you this, and I think it might be with the Clintons, or it might be with the guy that knew he's in the United States Senate now. How can the people? We have one guy used to run in Kansas City that really didn't live in Kansas City. How can they do that, Ms. Curls?
I don't understand the question. You say
the question is, a lot of people run for office and they really don't reside in that particular district or the office they're running for.
If someone knows about it, they tell the election board and they go from there. But that might have happened in the past. I don't know if that's happening now because they got new laws and all. But I know they check and see where you're supposed to live. And sometimes people are having an apartment or something in that area and, come there every now and then. That happens. I know that happens.
Well, Mr. Our folks, what about our present United States Senator? They said he really is not a resident in Missouri, but he's a Missouri U.S. Senator. And somebody, I think Jack Danforth went on that, motivated him or provided him type of revenue to win, and he won.
Well, you talking about Josh Hawley, who
yes.
I'm not a fan of, but he came out of the Kansas City area, and he lived there. He grew up there, I should say, but he always lived in D.C. Like right now, I think the question you just asked, I think in the case of the senator, Holly, he may not have a home address, live in a home in Kansas City. He may have a parent's address or some address there, but he actually, his residence is actually in Kansas. I'm not sorry, it's in D.C., in the D.C. area, not in the suburbs of D.C.
Well, that happens because when you're a U.S. congressman or a U.S. senator, you usually have a place in D.C. area. And then I've been told, several reps or senators or whatever had an apartment or something in the district, like I said, and they would come home on the weekend, but technically they really lived in the D.C. Yeah.
Folks, I hate to say this, but it's 5:55.
Yeah, he's telling us how much time we can be on the show, and that really goes beyond what Mr. Fowlkes and Miss Melba Curl said. I can only give you 5 or 10 minutes, and she says it all the time, but she normally lasts the duration of the show, the shows I've had it on, and we appreciate that.
That's good enough.
And also, Mrs. Curl, I did get your message, and we're going to have, and our knows about this, that the place is booked up, that we want to have the humor conference in, but I did not talk.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, well, he said that, you guys got something going and somebody else got it booked up. We had thought that we had booked it up, okay?
Oh.
But now I'm at the
date now.
Huh?
Have you changed the date now?
No, I haven't changed the date, but I did call the Southeast Community Center, and they have that date open, but you have to in person put up a $50 deposit in person. So I'm gonna have to talk to people. I really wanted to be on December the 3rd, my birthday, my 83rd birthday, but I thanks to you because you mentioned that yesterday. You thought you guys were having something going on. I thought we had it clear that that was going to be the date.
You in the center. When you mentioned that date, I just mentioned that we were having something at that time on that date at that location.
Right. So right now we got some people. I have to check with some people, but if we had somebody that go by and put up a deposit of 100 people, 400 people, we can get the Southeast Community Center. But I'm going to have to check with some people Monday to see if that's really what they want to do, because we got a lot of people that say they want to participate, but then they don't come up with the donation they should in order to do the thing that the people want to achieve in that particular event.
That's true. So anyway, about the time was up. I appreciate talking with you guys, and I hope we answered some of the questions, and I hope the public steps up. We don't want them to close Central. and when they tore down the old Central, I still have one of the bricks, that was gone. So, and then when they built the new one, that's great architecture, I think. You see that? You say, oh, that's a good looking building. And now they want to make something else out of it, or I don't know what all they plan on doing.
Ms. Curl, I have a question. Is this your cell number you'll be talking on?
Am I what?
Is this your cell phone number or your house number?
No, this is my house number.
Okay.
So
the reason I asked, okay, I was a fan.
You can get my cell number. I think MC has it, or.
Okay, I get it from you off there, and I see your card. What I do on senior card for today's program.
3 o'clock. I hear 3 o'clock every day. I didn't hear the rest. What?
No. So what I'll do is senior card for today's program.
Okay.
Well, give me a cell number, Melvin.
Not on the
We're not gonna give it on the air.
Okay.
Not on there.
I'll get it to you. Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay. Well,
you got my number. Okay, you can text it to me on my number.
Yeah.
On your phone.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, Mrs. Curl, to join us. Hopefully that we enlighten some people. Hopefully a lot of people can benefit by this show. And thanks to you, because you made it possible to enlighten us all what should take place and what experiences that you have.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah, so we hope some people get some ideas, or that, go to the meeting, go to school board meetings. If you have something to say, get on the schedule. That sometimes that helps, and that's happening all over the place.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Curl, and close us out, Mr. Fowlkes.
Well, this is a guest coming to Kansas City with MC Richardson to hold. You again next Saturday at 5 to 6. We say have a safe weekend. Nice to see you today. Let's go. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you too, sir. Nice meeting you.
Take up.
Okay. Take
Likewise.
care.